Green flag is out for the Albany Saratoga Speedway Modifieds as the 97 of Bob Hackle would take the early race lead up into turn number 1 and 2 as the field going to rustle its way up through the corner as the 20 of Brett Hearn brings him down off of turn number 2, looking to get by the 3J machine up off of turn number 2. That time he would do it as he would get by Johnson for position, get by Elmo Reckner as well as sliding his way up on the top side up off the corner. Meanwhile, Hearn continuing to work his way down on the inside, looking for win number 900 to get by Demetrius Strolls for position up off of turn number 2. That time couldn't make it stick though as the 1RJ would try to work its way down, but the caution would come out for the 43 of Ricky Davis up off of turn number 4. Off of the restart, here's the 97 machine powering it down the front straightaway once again as he would work his way up on the outside lane. Jesse Mueller in tow in the number 2 spot as the top 3 battling for position as Neil Stratton goes up against the outside wall. Mueller kind of makes contact with Gleason when he comes back down on the racetrack, working his way down off the corner. Meanwhile, Mueller this time going to slide up, going to give Brett Hearn almost no room off the corner, pinches him on the outside as that would give Mueller the position, working down to the number 4 spot, continuing to power up on the top. 14 of C.G. Maury will bring out the caution up off at turn number 4 as we go back to green. Hackle back in command of this one as Mueller continues to work the top side. Matty D down low, looking to keep that number 2 spot, but Mueller just too fast up on the top side, really looking to make it stick up off at turn number 1 and 2 this time as they power it down the back straightaway. Working it way down. Here's the 20 of Brett Hearn powering it down on the back straightaway as he goes over the banking for just a second. That's going to allow a few people to get in as now the Mueller car going to get by the 97 of Hackle as he goes up over the banking in turn number 2 as they work down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, the 19 of Mueller leads this one. Brett Hearn up to the number 3 spot. He'll try to slide up on Matty D, but Matty D says, I don't think so. In that BBL Company's machine, here's the 3J at Johnson working it down on the inside. Brett Hearn looking to power up off the corner as this time they try to make a move, but Johnson would move up in the number 2 spot before you know it as Ray Horde would bring out the caution up off the corner. Off the restart, Mark Johnson would go to the front as he would get by Jesse Mueller for position and slide up in front of him up off at turn number 4. But as they race him down the front straightaway, this wasn't going to be good, folks. As they bring him down off the corner, Mueller drives it in too hard into turn number 3 and 4, goes over the front end of Mark Johnson, sending them both up on the outside at turn number 2, ending both of their nights and maybe costing the 3J a shot at the point title here with just a few weeks to go. Up off at turn number 4, that gives the lead to Brett Hearn, looking for win number 900 in this one as he powers it up off at turn number 1 and 2. He would be your new race leader. His battle for second was really good, though, as Ronnie Johnson and Keith Black going to run side by side for position as they battle up into turn number 3 and 4. They come off of the corner, looking as Flack tries to power down on the inside lane. Couldn't do it that time. It wasn't getting to Hearn. Win number 900 for the Jersey Jet as he picks up the victory. So Brett Hearn picks up the win. Ronnie Johnson would finish in second. Keith Black third. Neil Stratton fourth. And Kenny Tremont would round out the top 5. To the Lebanon Valley Speedway we go now as Olden Dwyer going to have a little trouble in his heat race in this one as they get ready to race under the Valley Oval. Take a look at this. He goes up into turn number 3 and 4. Something breaks on the machine. A very hard hit for the driver, the number 88 machine, and a tough break for him as well. As you see that right front just almost torched off the car. Meanwhile, they bring him down off the front straightaway with Mike King in command. The Kingfish looking to pick up his first win in 2017. And look at Elmo Reckner go up off of turn number 2. Sprints past that 16 of Kyle Hoffman down the back straightaway looking for that number 2 spot. Meanwhile, Andy Bacchetti, Steve Huff, and the 20 of Brett Hearn working right together. Kyle Sheldon and Eddie Marshall right there with Keith Flack and LJ Lombardo down the back straightaway as well. Meanwhile, here's the 17 machine of Elmo Reckner powering it underneath the 55 of King up off of turn number 4 as they work their way down the front straightaway. The Kingfish looking in the number 1 spot there. He's got Reckner right next to him. Here comes Kenny Tremont and Brett Hearn as Hearn going to have the advantage down the back straightaway. Up off at turn number 3 and 4, he would quickly make work of the 115 as we go back to the battle for the lead. Up in front, Elmo Reckner trying to power past the Kingfish up off at turn number 2. That time off the corner, he gets just enough head of steam into Wendy's entry going to the front of the field up off the corner. As they work their way down off at turn number 4, now the 55 of Mike King bringing it down the front straightaway in that number 2 spot. But here comes the Jersey Jet looking to make quick work here up off at turn number 2. And as he sits in the number 4 spot, the caution will come out onto the speedway for Jeff Sukup. And that's going to put Hearn in a prime position on the inside lane. The Jersey Jet off the restart, going to waste no time. He'd get by the 55 of the Kingfish up into turn number 2. As a 3-wide battle behind him is Jelly Pitcher Fletcher and Tremont battle for position. Oh yeah, by the way, Hearn's right up on the back bumper of Elmo Reckner already, and he's pushing it to the inside here. 14 laps in the books. Brett Hearn's trying to get by the 17 machine. Elmo not going without a fight, though. No question about that. Up off at turn number 2. As they work their way down the backstretch, here comes the Jersey Jet trying to make it side by side down off at turn number 3 and 4. The 20 machine would take the spot away. He would be your new race leader just about the halfway point, and I think you all know how this is going to end. The 45 machine going to come down pit road to the attention of his crew as the restart would send the 20 back at the front of the field as cars scrambled to try to get position once again here with exactly 15 on the board. Still half of this race left to go as Eddie Marshall trying to power away from the rest of the field. Brian Berger with another strong run working his way up into the top 5. He'd take the number 3 spot away from Kyle Hoffman, but it's all behind Brett Hearn, who gets win number 901 at the Valley of Speed. Reckner would finish in second, Brian Berger third, Robbie Pitcher fourth, and Keith Flack would round out the top 5. To the Fonda Speedway we go now for some kiddie ride action. Everybody loves the kiddie rides. Hey, I love the kiddie rides more than anybody. Trust me. Sportsman feature event going to get it started with Happy Harry Schaefer up at the front of the field. So he's going to work it up in that number 1 machine as they power it down the back straightaway. Here, keep an eye on Cody Clark working it up on the outside of Tony Ferrone for position as they power down through the short chute and down past the Cow Palace up off at turn number 4. Meanwhile, the one is Schaefer way out in front of that number 1 machine as they power it up off the corner once again. Side-by-side battle for the number 2 spot is Tony Ferrone battling right back on the inside of Cody Clark for the spot. But Clark going to get by him off at turn number 4. Try to set his sights on Harry Schaefer as he's got a long way to go to catch that number 1 machine. May need a caution in this one to see if that can happen. And there it is. Ricky Quick having trouble down the front stretch. The 1Z of Ray Zemkin right there as well, as that will bring out the yellow, another car up in turn number 2, along with the 99 machine down in front, as that would bring out the yellow, and you see a lot of left rear damage on that number 1Z machine up off of turn number 2 as you take a look that time. Off of the restart, that'll put Harry Schaefer on the inside lane as Cody Clark looks to power around him up off of turn number 2 that time, but Schaefer not going away very quickly as he would continue to maintain the race lead down the backstretch. Keep an eye on Chad Edwards, even if he is a Bills fan. He's got a fast race car up off the corner as now Cody Clark going to power it up off of turn number 2, trying to take that number 1 spot away down the backstretch, but Schaefer again not letting him get there. But eventually, Clark would push up on the outside lane and find the groove he would need. He'd power up past him up off at turn number 2. New race leader, that number 4 machine, as he sticks his nose out. Oh, but hey, here's Harry Schaefer battling back on the inside, going to take it right back from him as they power into turn number 3 and 4. Caution will come out again up off at turn number 2, and this would set up another battle as Cody Clark going to power up on the outside. He'd take the race lead away. Chad Edwards would get by as well as they power up into turn number 1 and 2 this time, but the yellow will come out for Bill August, which would negate the pass for Edwards getting the second. That puts Schaefer back up on the inside lane, but Cody Clark going to do the same thing off of turn number 2. He'll take the race lead outright down the back straightaway. Oh yeah, here comes Rocky. Rocky up into the number 4 spot. Now setting his sights on Edwards and getting by Ferrone up off at turn number 3 and 4. It wouldn't take him long to get to the number 2 spot and get by Harry Schaefer, looking to set his sights on Cody Clark, but just couldn't do it as Clark was gone in this one as he would take the win in the Sportsman feature event. To the modified feature event now, and what a battle this would be. Good to see Ryan Odaz back in the number 88 machine working his way down the front straightaway, but as this happens, and the field going to work his way up through turn number 1 and 2 as cars going everywhere in the early going. Stuart Friesen trying to make his way up through the field. He's got Mike Maresca up on the inside of him, Tim Fuller right in front of him as they look to power, and it wouldn't be long till Jeremy Wilder says, all right, I'm taking the race lead, I'm taking control of this race, and I'm going to keep it going. Bobby Varon and Stuart Friesen methodically working their way up through the field in the early going of this one as they would click off another position up through turn number 1 and 2. As Wilder would continue to pull away from the rest of the field down in front as the caution will come out again and restack the field. But it wasn't going to be long until Wilder just said, yeah, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to pull back out in front of you again. Up through turn number 1 and 2 this time as Wilder is gone, but keep an eye on Friesen. He gets by Varon that time down the back straightaway, but in a clear veteran strength as Friesen goes to work on him. Varon going to get him right back as the two veterans of the sport battle back. Bobby Varon, the multi-time champion here at the Fonda Speedway. So is Friesen. But the 76 still working his way in front, looking to go to the front of the field as Friesen would work by Josh Hohenforce and now set his sights on Ryan Odaz with Tim Fuller right behind him trying to battle back off the corner. They power down off at turn number 4 this time, as now the 44 machine powering it up in front, trying to power it up off the corner, as Friesen trying to take control, but here comes the 76 machine of Varon pushing to the inside. They'll take the number 2 spot away from Ronnie Johnson and try to set his sights on Jeremy Wilder, who is way out in front. Wilder going to easily take home the win out at the Honda Speedway in the modified division in that number 22 machine. Varon would finish in second, Stuart Friesen third, Tim Fuller fourth, and Ronnie Johnson would round out the top 5. To the great race place we go now for some pro stock action, as the one of Nick Arnold going to take the early race lead up into turn number 1 and 2 as the field works its way down the back straightaway. Cousin Luke Horning going to try to make a move on the outside lane, gets tagged by Daryl Older. Things get pinballed down the backstretch. Horning going to slow, Older going to slow as well. Fast Eddie Thompson nowhere to go. He gets tagged around, and that brings the yellow out onto the speedway here. And off the restart, Brandon Amy going to take control of the race lead as they work it down off at turn number 3 and 4. Keep an eye on the Firestorm and Norman Lubier up on the outside lane, looking to power up off the outside as he would look to take the number 4 spot away, working it down into turn number 1 and 2. And hey, here's Kenny Martin. Kenny Martin looking to do everything he could to get by that number 2 machine of Brandon Amy, and you'll see what I mean in a second. He goes to the low side once. Couldn't get him as Amy holds him off from turn number 3 and 4 as he continues to keep it down on the inside lane. Then you got the 93 of Martin once again trying to the outside, but as that happens, the caution comes out as the 11 of Fast Eddie Thompson goes around up in the front straightaway and with some trouble on the right rear wheel. Off the restart, Kenny Martin now going to see pressure from the 97 of Dan Older up off of turn number 3 and 4 as he works it down off the corner as they bring him down the front straightaway once again. Here's Kim Dool now working on for the number 3 spot, trying to get by Nick Stone for position as he's got that thing powered up on the inside. The 2 of them would get to the 93 of Kenny Martin. One going to go to the top, one going to go low. They're 3 wide down the front straightaway. Nick Stone goes up on the top side. Kim Dool going to get him on the low side up off at turn number 2 as they work their way down off the corner as a caution will come out for Storm and Norman Lubier, who had a little bit of trouble, and that would re-rack the field here with just 3 laps to go as Kim Dool going to look to power in front of the number 2 of Brandon Amy up off the corner. He would do so and take the number 1 spot away down the front straightaway as that Curtis Lumber wagon out in the front. One last shot for Brandon Amy though as they bring him down into turn number 3 and 4. Here comes the 2 machine with another shot at him, but Kim Dool running in the middle of the racetrack, just going to have enough as they come to the line as Kim Dool picks up the win in the Pro Stock Feature event. To the sportsman now, Chris Rocca going to take the early race lead in this one as they work it down into turn number 1 and 2 for position. But Alex Bell going to take the number 1 spot away as he works up on the outside. As this happens, the 3 of Nick Lucier goes around. Joe Orlando gets collected up into through turn number 1 and 2 as the 818 with nowhere to go up off the corner. 3 wide battle down the back straightaway as the 09 of Connor Cleveland going to look to get past the 22 with Tim Harton Jr. down the back straightaway. And as they roll past, here comes Andrew Buff working on the outside of Daryl Nutting looking for that number 2 spot. The driver out of Colony, New York, going to power his way up off at turn number 4 down the front stretch, but the caution will come out again for Kenny Conroy and the 33J of Chris Johnson. Off of the restart, here's the 42 machine. Working on the inside as Buff continues to work the outside. Buff right in the tracks of the 23 of Alex Bell this time down on the backstretch as they work their way up off at turn number 4. They'll power it up through the corner once again as the 23 continues to have the advantage, but here's Andrew Buff with another shot this time. Going to push it to the inside, but the caution will come out up off at turn number 4, 3 and 4 that is, as the 7 of Dave Constantino involved. John Miller looks like as well in there as well. Off of the restart, here's Alex Bell holding on here, final 2 laps of this one. Look at the move by Andrew Buff, tries to pull the slide job on him, but crossing back over is the 23 of Alex Bell. Robert Puplack in there as well as they come to the 2 to go sign, but off the corner for the final time. It was going to be Alex Bell with the win, but would be DQ'd due to a post-race infraction, giving the win to Andrew Buff. The old Buzzard 30 at the Lebanon Valley Speedway. Jimmy Langenbach, one of my favorite Pro Stock drivers, as Nick Hilt would take the early race lead in the number 17 machine. Working it up through turn number 1 and 2. A little bit of contact early as Rob Yetman has some sheet metal going crazy off the car as they bring him off at turn number 2 as yellow will come out. And I know that's off Yetman's car because he's the only one with a paint job reminiscent to Randy Savage in the 90s. Oh yeah, trust me on that one. Up off the restart, the 8 machine of Corbin trying to go on the back bumper of the 29 of Ricky Duzlak as they work their way down into turn number 3 and 4, but Hilt continuing to lead this one up through the corner. Rick Dempsey goes around all on his own up through turn number 1 and 2 as he was sideways right through turn number 1 as the yellow will come out once again off the restart. Meanwhile, 3 wide down the back straightaway as Hugh Page comes down into Chuck Towsley, which sends the 8 of Corbin down on the low side a little bit. Jason Meltz gets into the back bumper of Page, but Towsley with trouble. Looks like a left front flat on that number 23 machine. That slows him down off at turn number 3 and 4. Now off the restart. Keep an eye on Jason Meltz, who's getting stronger in the Pro Stock division by the week. Going to look to work his way past the number 29 machine of Duzlak as the 7-11 of Richie Crane loses a number of positions. And here comes Rob Yetman as the caution comes out for the 60 of Joe LaFlamme up off at turn number 2. Field going to work its way back down the front straightaway as now moving into the number 2 spot will be Rob Yetman here with just 7 laps to go in this feature event. But meanwhile, the battle for the lead continues as the 7 of Yetman going to go on the inside lane. He wants that cash as this race, a great event put on by Bobby Chalmers up off at turn number 2 as they work their way down the back straightaway. The number 7 machine will take the number 1 spot away down the back straightaway as they bring him up on turn number 3 and 4. Hilt going to try to battle back off of the corner as Yetman continues to lead this one through turn number 3 and 4. Hilt gets into the back bumper at Towsley, who had just gotten by him, but meanwhile, checkered flag would be out and Rob Yetman would pick up the win in the Old Buzzard 30. Small block modifying feature event at the Valley of Speed as they work their way up through turn number 1 and 2. It would be the 13 of Frank Horde, but meanwhile, Brian McGuire gets into the 117 of Jason Tompkins up through turn number 1 and 2. That would bring out the caution as Timothy Davis goes around. Battle for the number 1 spot is Alan Hoteling and Frank Horde working side by side for position, trying to take the race lead away as the 250 of Hoteling. Meanwhile, battling down in front is Drellis and Tremont going to go at it down up off at turn number 1 and 2 for the position. Meanwhile, here's the 55 of Brett Haas working on the 17 of Brandon Pitcher for position up on turn number 3 and 4. He'll slide up in front of Pitcher and looking to work into the top 5. Meanwhile, up at turn number 4, or number 2 rather, Drellis and Tremont come together up off of the corner, making a little bit of contact, and as the yellow comes out for Frank Horde, who has trouble, Rodney Rescott displays the black flag to Demetrius Drellis. He would be done for the night for the contact up off at turn number 2. Off of the restart, the 250 of Alan Hoteling would reassume control of this one down the back straightaway as Jason Harrington right there in that Reichenberg construction number 1, looking to power back on the inside lane, rather up through turn number 3 and 4. The 115 of Kenny Tremont really looking to make it work down off the corner. He would get by the 55 of Brett Haas up off at turn number 2 and move into that number 3 position. Meanwhile, Jason Harrington trying to get to the front, and this is exactly what Kenny Tremont wants to see up off the corner as he continues to close up the gap off at turn number 4 and race it down the front straightaway. Meanwhile, the 250 of Hoteling still there. Here comes Kenny Tremont, going to go vintage style, trying to get by the 1 of Jason Harrington, and he does, and his sights are set on Alan Hoteling. But you know Hoteling, he's been around for a while. He's not going down without a fight, especially here at the Valley of Speed. As he works it down up off at turn number 4, continues to hold on to that number 1 spot as Tremont continuing to lurk right behind him. Tremont going to try it down on the low side this time. Nothing doing that time. As the 250 continues to work it up off the corner, he'd get even closer this time, pull even with him, even pull ahead of him going into turn number 3 and 4. But Alan Hoteling says, nope, not this time either, buddy. I'm working the outside. This is my race right now. Final time up off the corner, he tries to slide up a little bit too much. That allows Tremont to cross over slingshot style, and the 115 just gets the 250 at the line to pick up another small block win. That'll do it for this week's episode of Quick Time. A special thanks goes out to sponsors at the Flat Companies, Cannon Auto Supply, La Rochelle Auto Body and Restoration, Cranes Outdoor Power Equipment, Tom Sabin, and Bobco Media. I'm Mike Warren. We'll see you next time at the races.